What's up and good morning, guys? Welcome back to another video. Gotta thank Chris for taking the primo street parking, so I gotta park single cab OBS over there. And today we're dealing with the mess that is my cursed crew cab OBS. Now, if you guys remember in, I don't know, 2 videos ago or 1 video ago, whatever the last video was, I had mentioned that me and Chris were driving this thing. We got about halfway up the street and it just smelled like it was on fire. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It smelled like an electrical fire, quickly switched to smelling like a paper fire, and then it went back to an electrical fire. So we limped it back to the house and tore basically the entire interior apart. We had the whole dash apart, glove box out. Obviously you can see the door panel still missing. We just took everything apart that we could, and we could not locate anything that was even remotely burned, blackened, smelled like smoke. The predominant smell was coming from this area, which when we were first driving, it smelled like it was coming from that area. So we don't really know, and that's a horrible thing because I do not want to see my baby go up in flames. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. I'm going to try to limp it over to the warehouse. I already had Sergio come over here, check all the wiring that he did. I had Adam from Ronnie's Electronics come over, check all the stereo system components, but apparently we're missing something and we got to dig deeper. So me and Sergio, and I think Wes, are going to be digging into this thing pretty heavily today, and we don't want to leave any body panels here. The one thing I hate about tearing these trucks apart is, as you guys know, all these pieces are plastic and they're brittle, and the more you tear them apart, the less they want to go back together. Oh, and apparently the truck's been sitting a while. We got a little spider in there. Good thing we got some bug spray right there. Sorry, spider, you can't live in my truck. There you are. Die. One of the precautions I'm going to take, just in case there is anything audio side-wise that's like making this happen, is we are going to disconnect the main fuse right there. Hopefully that shows up on camera for the audio system. Fuse is out, and just to show you guys like how hard we were looking, you'll notice there's a bunch of coffee grounds right here. We're actually using coffee because that's like a way to cleanse your palate. If you are so fancy, if you're trying to smell something and you get used to the smell, you smell some coffee. It's what they always have it in like cologne shops and stuff. So we're out here sniffing coffee like crazy, like trying to track down the smell. So if we ever cross any borders with this truck, they're definitely gonna think we're smuggling drugs. I'm legit nervous about this ride, you guys. Got my handy dandy fire extinguisher. I don't even know if it's the right one. Hopefully it's the right one. God, that thing is hot. And today is like not the ideal day to see if your truck's gonna catch a fire, being that it's 100 degrees outside. Here goes nothing. She also hasn't been ran in like a week. You know, easy. So far we're all right. I'm nervous, guys. Here goes nothing. I'll feel a little better when we get past the halfway mark on the street here. That's where it happened last time. I'm probably gonna pass out from like sniffing so hard and taking so many breaths. It also doesn't help that there's been multiple fires since yesterday, like brush fires, so you can see all kind of the hazy smokiness still left over. So I think everything smells like smoke right now. All right, guys, good news. As you can see, I'm clearly not burnt to a crisp. The old OBS made it. No more burning smell. That doesn't mean we're obviously gonna stop, because I don't like the fact that I can no longer trust that truck, even though it's been cursed for like months. But I wanna get to the bottom of it before I will safely drive that thing and like confidently drive that thing. So we're gonna do a little truck switcheroo, because we do have a video shoot going on with this truck today with our new work for it flags. I know I did some video footage the other day on Chris's truck, but this is like for the real launch. So you guys are getting like a lot of the behind the scenes pre-launch stuff before it hits like Instagram and all that. Uh-oh, looks like we got Wes here. Let's see. Wes, have you taken a couple day break after Rich's lift kit? We're all like zenned out, we're back to normal, good?
I'm fine. I was just making the video for YouTube, that's all. I wasn't even
okay.
I wasn't even
okay. Oh, well, you got Chick-fil-A, dude.
I didn't throw no wrenches. I didn't.
Okay. Well, we'll go with that story.
I didn't throw a wrench. I threw a part that we didn't need anymore, but we will need soon.
So we got the Ford pulled in. We've got the A-Team on it now. Wiring guru Wes, wiring guru Sergio. Hey, Sergio.
What's up, man?
You excited?
Yeah,
no,
like always.
No. What did we spend the other day? About 3 or 4 hours tearing this thing apart?
Around 3 hours, yeah.
And found nothing. Nothing.
Well, we find a lot of issues though, but nothing that smell.
Yeah. So a lot of you guys left awesome suggestions in the comments of your OBSs that have caught fire. So apparently this is unfortunately a common thing, but there's a lot of relays that you guys told me to check that we're gonna check today. A lot more wiring. Again, we're just gonna track it down. I don't know. We're gonna just keep going and digging. So does it still smell up in there? Because up in there,
I can't smell anything burning.
Smell up in there, Sergio. You remember the smell?
It's gone.
It's gone?
Yep.
You fixed it, boys. All right, we're done. See that red wire?
Yeah.
It's got a cut in it. That might have happened right where you're, right there.
Right there?
That might have happened when you pulled everything out of that little pocket right there.
Okay.
but it also doesn't look burnt around it. I mean, but obviously we should cover that. But I think those are factory speakers.
Yeah, the smell is particular smell that being in electronics, I've noticed, I recognize it is something that when you burn a chip inside of a PCB.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe the stereo was, or even the speaker, but the smell wasn't strong enough to.
Yeah, we smelt everything. I mean, you could burn an electronic device, 2 years later smell it, and you know it was burnt. Yep. So we smelt the entire head unit. I mean, we had the whole thing pulled out, smelt every bit of it. We pulled all these little whatever computer boards are in the forge right there. We pulled all of them out of the glove box area, smelt them. We pulled the relay out of the blower motor, smelt it. Like, everything seemed fine.
Also, what happened is that we really got used to the smell.
That is also the problem, yeah.
Once you get used to it, it's really hard to detect it.
What's it smell like, Wes?
It does smell like hot, but I don't know.
It's also been sitting in the sun for a couple days.
Well, I know it's normal because there is an amplifier inside of these.
Smell it in there, because that's, I mean.
Also, we know the speakers aren't working, so that means one of the outputs, either from the amplifier or the stereo, is
not working.
It's not working or burned out.
So we did have Adam from Ronnie's Electronics come over. We put a new amp for the speakers and a new DSI. He brought one over one day just to check and see if that would fix the speaker issue. It didn't. I mean, a lot of things are kind of pointing to this, other than the fact that it does not, or did not smell burned. It feels hot right now because, again, it's been sitting in the sun for days here. But let's see what happens if we.
There's a smell to it, but it's not a burnt smell I've smelled before.
We turn on the AC, or even just the fan. So yeah, the other thing is, like, the head unit works perfectly. There's no issues with the head unit itself other than the outputs. Well, my allergies weren't killing me already. Sitting here smelling all the dust blowing out of the AC vents is gonna be great. All right, let's see what happens if we kick the air conditioning on. Right now we're just running the fan. Let's run the actual AC. Now the weird thing about this whole issue was nothing smelt under the hood. So I know a lot of people saying check the alternator ground strap and all that stuff. I mean, unless that's affecting something inside the cab, nothing under the hood at all smelled burnt. It was all coming from behind the dash. While the truck was running right now, Wes actually just checked the alternator. My battery light has recently been going on and off, which usually leads to an alternator issue. When Wes checked it right now, it was only charging at 13.1 volts, where it should be in like the 14.1 range. So definitely seems like the alternator is kind of on its way out. But again, that really shouldn't be the burning issue, especially since nothing smelled under the hood. We are going to be pulling the gauge cluster out and checking. There's a couple, I guess, relays back here that people had mentioned. Also, one of the other things, and I've noticed this as well in these trucks, is everything being so much exposed metal on these trucks, it is really easy for things to short out. So once we can get back behind the gauge cluster, check that, make sure none of these wires shorted out against that firewall back there. Hopefully that'll lead us to something. Let's get the dash pulled apart here. And like I said, you can see how easily this all comes off because yeah, all the clips are just non-existent anymore. I mean, even the little like information center there, as well as the tank selector, like none of these just clip in or screw on anymore. The other issue with pulling these trucks apart is there's so many different screws, and I feel like every time you pull more stuff apart, you end up losing them and replacing them. You'll notice on these trucks, drywall screws are very, very common. I'm assuming because most of them are work trucks, and that's what most of us have on hand. Now, with the old school technology, anytime there's a warning light on this truck, which you can see right there, they are illuminated by those little incandescent bulbs in each one of these holes. And I've been noticing that one's missing, so I was worried, like, have I not been catching a warning light? As it turns out, that one is like the original theft light right there for the factory security system. We have since gone and upgraded the security system, so I don't think we need to worry about that too much. So yeah, remember when I said pulling these old Ford trucks apart is not fun because things break? Well, we just broke the little plastic that holds the gear selector little wire in place. So hopefully we can super glue that back together, or we're buying some spare parts. And pulling these little wire harnesses out of the back of the gauge cluster is not fun. Definitely feels like we're gonna break something again, and this is not the harness I want to break. All right, so we're taking a little bit of break from that project. I gave up on trying to get that harness out. I'm gonna let Sergio's expertise do it before I end up breaking something more.
New channel.
You may remember Brooke from MGP, the caliper cover company. She's gonna be doing some filming for us today. Her video turned out awesome for Brian's truck, so we're gonna be filming the work for flags for the Instagram release. Georgie, you ready, buddy? Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, there you go, buddy. Perfect. So we got Brooke gonna be riding in the back of Wes's truck. God help her soul that she doesn't go flying out. Georgie, it's just me and you. Where'd she go, buddy? You missing your mom? chick's pretty ballsy, hanging out the side of Wes's truck like that.
I think she got a heart attack.
Did he not tell you about the horn?
No!
I scared that
Drop
guy.
my camera.
Gee. Are you surviving back there? It's a little rough.
My shoes are done.
She's definitely been a trooper. She's back there getting whipped by the flags. Now she's laying down. I feel bad because that CV axle's still back there covered in grease. Georgie, where is she, buddy? Where is she, Georgie? Find her. All right, well, we just got back from our video shoot. We got Stanchion Ridge 69 showing up with a ton more work for it hitch covers. Dude, they're heavy, bro.
Yeah, well, you just pinched my hand.
Just go up. Oh, jeez. We got Wes is commandeering a forklift over there. Yeah, that might be high enough to get the truck bed. All right. Wes, is there anything you'd like to say to Thomas before you almost pierce his truck?
I'm good, man. Go down just a click.
There you go. Straight in. You're gonna have to pick it up and slide it back.
Yeah.
Hold on. You got about 4 inches before the truck bed.
Stop it right there. Great, stop yelling at me. I'm not blind and retarded. You are pretty good.
Oh, jeez,
little more.
Brakes are a little touchy.
A little more, right there.
I got a honk. Needs a train horn. All right, let's see if that thing will make it up this ramp. Watch the gate. There you go. Look at that. You got this.
It's like you've done this before. Heard Amazon's hiring a forklift operator.
Go make him a deal on it. We'll give him like 800 bucks for it.
I got 800 right here. We'll go get it right now.
All right, go try and buy it from him. While we were gone, Sergio's been over here working on tearing everything apart. He got the gauge cluster out without breaking it, so I appreciate that, Sergio. Right when I roll up, Sergio's like, oh, I pulled the radio apart, stripped it all. He's like, smell it. And I'm like, oh man, this means he found it. But no, that he was telling me like, smell it. There ain't nothing wrong with this radio. At least anything visually, nothing looks burnt. There's just zero smell coming from this thing. So I hate to say it, but I don't think it's my $100-something Amazon head unit. Took a little page out of Brian's book for that one. Cheaped out, Brian. How does that normally work for you?
Yeah, just pay the extra money and go do it right.
There you go, Sergio. I don't want to get shocked.
You're never gonna. 12 volts is not gonna shock you. Everybody's scared.
So everything we're looking behind the dash, everywhere, like we're not seeing anything. So we're gonna hook the audio system back up. We're gonna put the fuse back in and see if we can get it to replicate. Are you sure, Sergio?
Sure.
If I get shocked, I'm gonna be upset.
No, you're gonna be shocked.
I am gonna be shocked? Sergio! What did I tell you? I didn't want that, Sergio.
That's different. The spark.
Well, sparks just as scary. Oh, we're bumping? We're bumping? All right, we got the fuse back in. We got the head unit back in. You guys can hear only the subs are firing right now. None of the door speakers are working. Yeah, so the weird thing is when this whole thing started, we heard crackling on the rear speaker back in that door. No smell ever came from the rear though. That's like the one weird thing. And that speaker always popped in and out because apparently the body shop, we think when they put it back together, they never used connectors. They literally just like fished the wire through the little holes on the connector and like spun it around. Chris, you want to get in there and diagnose it for us, buddy?
You got coffee?
Oh, you want to cleanse your palate? Oh, there you go. All right, cleanse your palate. Oh, he's on it. He's a hunting dog. We got to put a leash on you, buddy. Sniff it out, Chris. Oh, there?
You still smell it?
Yeah.
No way. You still smell it?
Absolutely.
Let me get in there. Let me.
I don't smell at all.
Sergio, you got to smell the Red Bull first. It like superpowers your nose.
Right here anymore.
Do you smell it in there? I kind of smell it in there too now.
Here, a little bit.
I mean, it looks dang near brand new, Sergio. You smell it in there?
No.
Let our hound dog Chris smell it. What do you smell, boy? What do you smell? What do you smell?
Dust.
Yeah, so we smelled the back of the gauge cluster, didn't smell anything on that.
But we're not Chris, so
Yeah, we don't have Chris's super sniffer.
we need a superpower.
Let's see.
So that connector goes into that.
Should we hide like some drugs in here and see if Chris can find them?
I'll find it.
Oh, you'll find them? All right, we're narrowing down here to a little bit of figuring out the stereo issue.
Yeah. So your amplifier, 4-channel amplifier, is burned out. It's not working. And also, we tested the
Speakers?
all the speakers, the wires.
Right.
So when you put negative and positive, you can hear the speaker when you have it hooked up correctly. None of them was we can hear anyone, any of the speakers. So that means the wire is it's somewhere cut or short. The only one that we could hear was the right side, but it was off. So probably when the other guy connected the other amplifier, brand new one,
Right.
none of those speakers were working because of the wires, and that one was taken off.
So right now they're probing the speakers.
You should hear that when.
Right. So that means the speaker wire is connected. But when they do it to every other speaker, nothing coming through. That's weird that all the wires are messed up at one time.
So yeah, it was. I don't know what happened there.
So we have a revelation here. We noticed this thing was hooked up to these wires. All the speakers were. Now, back in the day when I wired up that radio, if the truck has a factory amp on these old trucks, you have to bypass it. So you have to basically run new wires to each speaker. So what we just turned out, we were following all the speaker wire back. I just yanked this one out from under the seat. Apparently the body shop hooked up the old speaker wires, which are completely disconnected from anything now, instead of the new wires that Ronnie's ran, which would make sense of it not having any connectors.
The weird part is that you didn't notice.
I could have sworn. So here's the crazy part. That rear speaker would kick in and out. Like it would all of a sudden kick on and you would have audio, which makes absolutely no sense unless we got like two audio sources coming in.
They're still connected to the amplifier, right? The original one?
Yeah, but that whole amp should be bypassed. These wires should be bypassing the amp, but they might still be hooked up to the head unit.
That might be the case, but
This is crazy. This is a wiring conundrum over here. I hate wiring. I mean, look at what's going on back here. I mean, you can see IEP's beautiful wire job right there. Everything nice and tidy. And then we got chaos.
that's the thing, man. You need to do it right the first time.
So now all the other speakers are working except for this one. This one's been known to have a little bit of corrosion issues. That door leaks some water, but we want to see these wires come off pretty easy since we've had this door panel taken apart so many times. We've seen how this one comes apart. Yep, there it is. Missing. So this has the right wires going to it. So that's good. So it's only the back two that had the weird wires going to it. So maybe it was something in the speaker system because that back one started crackling and popping, which is strange considering the fact that they're not really hooked up. Like something shorted somewhere. Also means, again, my joying head unit, still good. So we just got a special delivery from Ronnie's Electronics. They brought us another new DSI, new 4-channel. That way we can do some testing, and they cut us some little lead wires. But it seems like we have the speaker issue kind of figured out now, which is good. Oh look, we even got a new wire harness. What's up, Sergio?
Can you hear it?
Yeah, why is it super quiet?
I don't know.
Think the speaker went bad?
No, we swapped the speakers.
Oh, this is...
Yeah, the right one.
So something's good. Oh, watch out, Sergio.
It's testing.
It's gonna bite you. So why are we not getting, you think it's the amp?
Yeah, it might be the amp.
Well, we got a new amp. So that's good. I called Ronnie's like 5 minutes ago and we got this delivered over here. So good service over there. So now we're trying the new amp to see, because for some reason, there we go. All right, well the new amp powers all 4 speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have found the problem. Good Lord. What was that? It's the factory amp. Yeah, smell it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a dead giveaway right there.
Oh,
let's
where was
that.
that? Chris is the
Chris
official one.
sniffer.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Underneath the dash. There it is. Good Lord, this whole mess right here to get to the factory
Where
amp.
was it? Like where?
It's up underneath, up under there.
So
well, the problem was they had never disconnected that. So he's saying when you bypass it, obviously you want to get rid of the power to it. So I guess in time it just had enough power to it, or something backfed, or something got crazy, and
It burned out. How do you feel now? Good?
I'm happy. Other than I know how many clips and crap broke to get this far. That I'm not happy about.
Well,
and the good
as long
news,
as you do it with time, with patience, you can put it back as good as possible. Like,
Sergio, how much time and patience you got, buddy? All the patience, man. You got so much more patience than me. You want to shoot some hoops a little bit, kind of clear your mind?
yeah, man, but not today.
All right, well, everybody's gone for the day. Again, so relieved that we figured out the issue, because I just was not confident driving the truck. I just don't want to ever be in a truck on fire, nor let my baby burn up. Chris, you got that, dude? Can you put all this back together?
Dude, I wouldn't even know where to start.
The problem is, like, I took half of it apart. Sergio took half of it apart. So, Like, it's gonna take both of our minds to put it back together to remember where half the crap came out of. I guarantee you, we're gonna have a handful of extra screws and bolts by the time this thing goes back together. And that's assuming none of these like wire harnesses and stuff or connectors end up breaking. So with that, we're gonna wrap up this video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that we do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, aka a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out Work For It Apparel because we do have all of the hitch covers that are going to be going out for all of the pre-orders, as well as we're gonna have a few extras. So make sure you guys get in on this batch because, as you guys know, they go really, really fast. You guys are the best.
Roll the outro.
Damn. Yeah.